Hi, I'm Chris. So I reckon that travel by bicycle is one of the cheapest ways of exploring the world. I think it should be accessible to everyone regardless of your budget, and you don't need all the fancy kit to make it happen. To prove the point, I'm going to show you guys how to make a frame bag out of duct tape. Okay, so time to get started on my frame bag. I'm going to hit the road in 2 days, so I really do need to get this done tonight. And I think the beauty of this particular way of doing this is that it's pretty quick and you don't really need any special tools. So all I'm going to be using is my penknife, and although it has got a pair of scissors on it, which are perfectly decent, I figured since I've got this lying around, might as well use that. In terms of tools, for a straight edge, I'm just going to use a table. That'll do me. And well, the equipment that I'm going to use to make the thing is pretty simple. A couple of rolls of Gorilla Tape. You know, I've used other gaffer tape last time and it seemed to work fine, but Gorilla Tape has a good reputation for being pretty sturdy and good in extreme conditions. It remains sticky. Got some extreme outdoor Velcro. This is to make the closure. I used it last time and it was decent, so why not? A little bit pricey, that one, but it does the job. Got some sort of imitation Velcro. This stuff sticks to itself, and that's going to do the loops around the bike. For the rigid parts of the bag, I'm going to use this. The original design I was looking at uses a sort of laminate, a sort of corrugated plastic, the sort of thing you find for like a for sale sign. Okay, lay the bike down, and then that piece of plastic or whatever you're going to use is going to be used to mark out the inside of the triangle, and then that's going to be used as your template to make the frame bag. Okay, so I've marked out using a highlighter pen, which is absolutely rubbish, but that's all I've got to hand, so I'm not going to go and buy a Sharpie just for the purpose. What you're going to do now is continue these lines out using a straight edge, and that's so that when you lay your duct tape on, you can actually see where you're going to trim it off. So yeah, just sort of continue those ones out. Okay, there you go. So that's how it's all marked up, ready to put the duct tape on. Okay, so I've just sort of roughly laid the duct tape over the template, and then now I'm going to use a straight edge to sort of tidy it off on the marks that we overshot with earlier. All right. Now we have a panel of duct tape that matches the original dimensions. What I'm going to do now is peel it off gently, flip it over, and then we're going to lay the next layer of duct tape on top of it. For the next layer, I'm going to go diagonally, whereas this layer was done horizontally. So a little bit of extra strength there. Okay, once you've laid the second layer on top, peel it off, flip it over, and then you can trim it down to the same size as the first one. Okay, so that now gives us a nice double-sided piece of duct tape. And it feels pretty heavy duty. Let's see how that offers up to the bicycle. That'll do. Maybe we can always trim it down a little bit if we need to. In fact, maybe there's a few bits that need to come down. I think this nose here doesn't need to be all the way there. I think we can probably bring that to a sort of dead end, just in a little bit. But yeah, that's more or less. All right, now repeat the process and make the second panel. Okay, so now you should have 2 floppy panels for the sides. And it's time to turn this into the bag. So to make it into 3 dimensions, we're going to use the rigid bit of material to form the top, down tube and seat post part of the bag. And then that should all tape together quite nicely. Okay, so you need to pick a width that you want between the 2 panels. You really want to avoid striking your legs on the bag as you pedal. So for that, I'm going to use a unit of measurement I've already got, which is the width of the duct tape. So yeah, I reckon that'll probably do the job. Okay, so I think you can probably start to see how it's all going to come together now. I've just finished making the rigid parts, which are going to form the outside of it. I think I would probably recommend using the sort of corrugated plastic, the sort of thing that a for sale sign is made out of, for example. This was a bit of a nuisance to cut with a penknife, and it's flexible, but I think it's probably a bit brittle. So we'll see how we get on. But it was the thing that I could find cheaply in the shop. Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, I am now going to cut the opening. So I'm just going to make a slit using the knife, and I'm going to go a duct tape width down from the top, and stop a certain distance away from either end, just to give it a little bit of space so it doesn't rip out the back. And yeah, then we'll work on the flap. Okay, so there you go, just a simple slit. It'll bulge out and you can get stuff in there. I've just put a couple of strips of duct tape over the end there, hopefully just to stop this ripping open. It's probably a bit excessive because, as you're going to see soon, there's going to be a lot of tape strapping all the daisy chain on. Okay, so I'm going to make the closure out of another double-sided strip of duct tape, and then we're going to use this extreme outdoor Velcro because we're going to live life extreme and outdoors. So what's the most efficient way to go about this for materials? It's probably something like that. Yeah, that'll do more or less. And yeah, I'll just sort of trim that down to the width of a duct tape. What will happen is this bag is going to stretch, and the flap will actually, what I found last time is this kind of bulges out. So you actually want the flap to sort of overshoot a little bit, because over time it's going to actually come back and fix. So yeah, don't be afraid to have a little bit of a offset between the hook and the loop. Okay, so that's the closure done. Now all you need to do is tape all the bits together to make the bag. Okay, so there it is in the bike. All I need to do now is affix it to the frame. I would do now is put any sort of bottle cages, top two bags, anything like that, get that in place so you know where the straps are going to go. To be honest, you could probably just duct tape the thing to the frame of the bike. I'm going to try and be a little bit more elegant and put a daisy chain around the outside perimeter of it, and then loop some Velcro through that. Okay, there we go, there's all the loops in place, and now just strap it on the bike. Okay, so there we are, all done, all strapped on. What I try to generally do is get the weight as far forward as possible. So one of the beauties of these frame bags is that you can get a lot of your heavy equipment forward. The rider's weight is going to be coming down onto the rear wheel. So over the long term, you want to reduce wear on the, you want to sort of even the wear out on the front and back. So I try to get as much weighty stuff forward as possible. It also makes a big difference in terms of riding off-road. You really want to have that weight equally distributed on both wheels. So the first thing that's going to go in is my repair kit, all my bits and pieces, tools and spares for the bike, and that'll probably just live in there now for the foreseeable future. Okay, all done. So the total for the Gorilla Tape frame bag came to $72.69. That's the Ecuador prices that I could find in the hardware shop, so it may be different where you are. The most expensive part of that was the 2 rolls of Gorilla Tape that was used. I actually only used a roll and a quarter, so perhaps if you were just a little bit more thrifty with how you applied the tape, you could get away with just the one. So from here you can go for a rack and pannier setup or an off-road bike packing setup. I really don't see the disadvantages to using a frame bag. You can achieve everything that you would with a bare frame, with the added advantage that you've got a little bit of extra space that you can fill up. Yeah, you can stuff as many water bottles and bits and pieces as you want down there. I've had some good experiences with this, and I think it's a pretty rugged and useful bit of kit that anyone can make and by the side of the road in a tent or in your warm showers or hotel or something like that. So yeah, have a little play with it and let me know how you get on. If you come up with any improvements or have any ideas, then feel free to let me know.
All right, have a nice ride.